Okay, and Ryan?
Okay, so for part of this CARES Act funding, there's money that is coming to local governments. Over the last couple of weeks, we've been learning about this through webinars. It's ultimately federal funds that have come to the state, and the state has established what they call SPARK, who's setting the guidance and outlining what the local governments can do with this first round of funding. There's all sorts of uses for this money. There's economic uses, we can cover economic impacts, schools, cities, counties, expenses, but I get a lot of questions about all this, and it has to be related to COVID. This isn't like a grant that you just get this money to spend it on whatever you want. There's a lot of stipulations and guidance on what we can and cannot do with this money.
So I'm assuming that if an entity was trying to recoup some of their money, they have to show their losses and be able to document
Correct.
such, and then they'll turn it into the committee?
Right. So there's two parts to this funding. What's going to happen first is any expenses that we have incurred back to, I believe it's March 7th is the date, for cities, counties, your local jurisdictions. We have to compile all of that, and that will go in on a form as termed reimbursement. So even though we were getting this this money, which is around $560,000, part of it is going to be reimbursement. So all those expenses we've incurred thus far, if they're not covered by other federal funding or other means, and they were not budgeted for, we'll submit those for reimbursement. So the first part of this is going to be collecting all of those receipts to send in for the reimbursement portion. Once we do that, we subtract that from the remaining money, and that is what will be referred to as the direct aid. And then we have to come up with a spending plan of how we are going to utilize the remaining money from now until the end of December. That plan then gets submitted to the SPARK committee at the state level for approval. And then any monies that we can't identify, which I don't think that'll be a problem, but if there's monies that we can't identify of how we're going to spend, we owe that back by September 15th.
That's a pretty short timeline.
Short timeline. So part of this, too, is we're going to be bringing on a contractor with you guys' approval to help coordinate all of this, get this all together, and bring in the plan. Kathy Domsch with Directions is helping some other counties with this as well. I have visited with her, and she is willing to take on Cheyenne County. And then part of the agreement with Kathy is that we have somebody locally that can also help with the admin duties, the legwork, compiling the receipts and that, who is here in county making phone calls. And so for that position, we're looking at Kelly Milliken, who's already been helping with us. We'll be bringing her on temporarily in a part-time position to do that, so with your guys' approval. And the state...
Can this money be used like on Main Street for losses?
Yes, and we're diving into that. And I got to be careful answering too many questions yet because we're still getting the guidance of all this. I can tell you in the last week and a half, the federal guidance has been revised about 4 times. So we're trying to
So small businesses can show a loss or something?
Correct. There is some economic things that we can do as well. And so for part of that is we need to hear from the community, or we work for the people of Cheyenne County, so
Right.
we need to hear from them. And so we're looking at setting up a steering committee. We'll bring in some stakeholders to represent different entities in the county to help facilitate that part as well. Basically, we got to put together all of our needs, prioritize them, put them in the plan, and see what we can fund and what we can't. So it's a big process with a very short timeline. So.
Because I think like the rest of them, I think they've lost some money because they couldn't bring in new patients, or not patients, but residents. And I don't know if they would be.
And there's
Like
been
that,
several, the CARES Act funding has come out through several outlets. So, the hospitals and clinics and nursing home, they've already received some of this funding too to help with that. So we got to look at if they have additional needs beyond that. So.
Do you want to talk about the 3 phases?
Okay, so yeah, it's my understanding, I believe it's $5 billion or something that the state received. in overall funding for all of this. And so the first round is being sent to local governments for us to meet the needs of the local county level and jurisdictions within. Rounds 2 and 3 are yet to be determined. It is my understanding that those will be managed at the state level, but those will both be for public and private sector. But it's my understanding we will have to go to the state to request any of those funds. I don't know yet how that money will come out, but there'll be 2 of those rounds yet to come.
So the allocation for funds is based upon population?
Yes.
So,
Population, COVID cases, unemployment rates, that was all figured into the formula for the counties. So,
The first round was what, 194 per
yeah, I
person?
think it was $194 per person, and then there was a little bit of additional money for Cheyenne County, just because we don't have a lot of cases, thankfully, and our unemployment rate was not as high as some counties. So, but that all got figured into the additional funds that came out as well.
okay. So you're going to try to get this team together quickly, I'm assuming?
Correct. I will work, if approved, I will work with Kathy, and then she will be the one bringing that team together and handling it from here on out. And she will be discussing things with you as well. So.
Okay.
She was unable to attend the meeting today also. So.
Okay, I need a motion to go ahead and approve the wage agreement for Kelly Miller.
So move.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And then we have a contract here with Direction Service Agreement. Reference the COVID-19 Sparks funds. Would be an agreement between Cheyenne County and Catherine Domsch of Atwood. Do I hear a motion to go ahead and approve that?
Motion for approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, I'm going to make an assumption that's,
Yeah, I think that's where you signed.
And as always, if you guys have questions, feel free to get a hold of me. So I'll try to answer them the best I can.
Not yet.
Oh,
So in order to facilitate the utilization of this money, a resolution needs to be passed so that a fund can be created for those monies to be deposited in. And so Scott and Kelly have prepared a proposed resolution regarding the creation of that fund, and it is going to be called the COVID CARES Act Fund. And we did have a meeting yesterday with Dolores Yannick, the treasurer, to make sure that everyone was on board in regards to this fund being set up and how the line items in there would be set up the best we know at this point in time. But a resolution needs to be passed for the purposes of the budget.
okay, this is Resolution 20-09, the COVID CARE Act Fund. The Board of County Commissioners duly assembled in regular session the 15th day of July 2020, and by the authority vested in said Board of Cheyenne County Commissioners, do hereby resolve accordingly to the authority given to the Board of County Commissioners. Now, therefore, it will be resolved that Cheyenne County Treasurer of Cheyenne County, Kansas, shall be authorized to direct and create a fund for the Cheyenne County in the state of Kansas that is named the COVID CARES Act Fund, and county treasurer shall deposit all proceeds collected by the county treasurer into said fund, and shall, upon authorization from the county commissioners, pay out any expenses.
and a little how this fund will work is the money will be receipted into that fund, and then line items will be set up for the expenditures to come out of that. This will help us down the road, one, be transparent of where this money went, but also, two, for audit and accounting records, it's all within one fund, and we don't have to go find things in all the different funds.
Make it easier on everyone, I'm sure.
Correct. And then for like city school districts, the money there you can transfer out to them They will have to sign resolutions, and also they will be responsible for their own internal accounting of this money, but then they will report to the county, and then we report to the state. So,
Okay. All right, do I hear a motion to go ahead and approve Resolution 20-09, the COVID Care Act Fund?
So moved.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay.
now you done with it?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Ryan.
Yep, have a good day.
Well done.
Just one more thing. We have motion day this morning, so I'm going to have to cut out and go to court. But I will be submitting a journal entry of judgment for the tax sale. And the next step will be getting an order for sale and getting the, excuse me, the actual tax sale set up.
How many properties are you looking at?
I think there are only 11 at this point. I'd have to double check. But the issue, so to speak, that I'm running into is where can this sale be conducted and abide by social distancing, etc.
Ranch
So,
Hill.
given that, and that's what's been the holdup, is because of the whole COVID, and I'm going to have a mass gathering
Grandstands.
to have this sale. And so that's been a holdup, but I've got to get moving on it. I've got to get something done because I got to get to working on the next one. I have to.
Okay.
How many people do you expect?
The last time the courtroom was full. There were probably easily 75 to 100 people there.
Could do it old-fashioned like, right on the front steps of the courthouse.
Well, I was actually thinking the park.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, band shell, that would seat everybody.
that's a good idea, the band shell. I'll write that
How
down.
about the Legion Hall?
Well, you're confined.
Yeah.
I mean, can you keep people 6 feet apart?
I think what holds 300? Maybe not, I don't know.
It barely holds 300, and that's with full tables. That's about what we have for the banquet
Well,
over there.
here's my concern. In the information that I am reviewing in regards to quote-unquote outbreaks, et cetera, it is a confined space where this is happening. And we have been so fortunate in Cheyenne County that I don't want to be that person that causes, an outbreak, so to speak. And so that's why I'm trying to figure out a venue whereby everyone is safe. And I like the band shell idea because I think that could work.
Yeah, you could spread them out, and they'd still have a place to sit down.
If they're 3 years behind on taxes, is that what it is?
Yes.
So how close is Northwest Kansas Planning and Development?
I believe the next tax sale, there's a method to it. So even though we're in 2020, you're looking at 2019, but you have to be 3 years full delinquent. So I'm looking at 2015 and prior for the next sale, I believe.
Gotta be getting close.
That'd be close, wouldn't it?
Gotta be.
They can't pay, I'm not just talking about them, but anybody, you just can't pay, you can't stay just 2 years out, can you? You can't.
But there are some counties that are directing their treasurers to apply it to the most recent instead of the oldest, so that, people don't receive that benefit of it, basically a tax-free loan, by not paying their taxes timely. Now, Cheyenne County is not doing that, but that is out there.
Well, we're in our second year of successfully doing this, so we're kind of new to the whole thing.
But that has to be done prior to that petition being filed. Once that petition is filed, then you are under the laws of redemption, whereby you have to pay all taxes, all penalties and interest, and all court-assessed costs in order to redeem that property.
Okay. Do you have anything else for us this morning, Leslie?
We have sent 3 people to prison,
So we're getting them off our,
yes. But we arrested 3 more Monday night.
we, to catch a break.
It was a busy night.
Well, we noticed there was a pretty big sum going over to Rollins County again. Oh, well, what it is what it is.
We're doing the best we can, but, you know, at a certain point, you just have to do what you have to do, and if it's, you know, holding them in jail and sending them to prison, that's a part of it.
I'd be curious to know what's left in that jail fund. Because I think we only put 20,000 in there.
I think it was more.
Did we bump it up finally?
I think we did, because we had run into an issue with going over budget, and so,
Well, yeah, but I remember John saying it's just one of those that you're always gonna be over budget
Yeah.
on and.
okay.
I believe his wife passed this week, John Mapes's.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
no.
I'm pretty sure that's.
It's jail care, 70,000 for adults.
70,000. Okay.
I was thinking we were trying to make sure we could take it.
We did, apparently. I don't know where I come up with 20, but
I think that's what it used to be.
I'm pretty sure it was. Okay, thank you. Scott?
Okay, Northwest Local Environmental Protection Group, this has been paid, but it's just a 6-month
Agreement.
report of what they've done in the county.
Did we appoint,
DJ.
yeah, that's what I thought. Is this done on a random basis, or do these people request a test?
I think they requested.
Boy, a lot of chloroform. A lot of nitrates. Do you know how that works? An individual who would like to have their water well tested, do they contact DJ first?
I don't think so, I think they just contact.
They contact the office in Colby?
But then they send out something saying, hey, we're going to be in the area after there are so many requests. We're going to be in the area, and if you want your well tested, let us know, because we'll be there.
Is there a cost to that?
I don't know, because we've never had ours tested.
I think we pay for, or maybe a portion.
Just by being a member?
Right, I mean, we, because that's our bill for that
Yeah.
6 months, so. Now, what's all, whether that's a portion of it, I don't know.
Coffee's getting hot.
and it's $100 to have it tested? They pay?
I don't know. It's been a couple of days since I read it.
What's going on in the park today?
No idea.
These are the ones that need to be tested.
What they're on there for.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Then I have the Northwest Kansas Library Systems Annual Report. Take one of each and pass down. They're asking, Darla Deeds has been appointed to that board, and she's wanting to stop. I asked him if he had any suggestions, and he thought contacting Diane Burns, which is with the library in Bird City, or Nathan Fiala, library here. I haven't contacted either one of them.
Is it Kelly on that board also? The library board?
So, yeah.
She might be somebody. Here you get one. One for everybody. What's the big one?
All sorts of stuff in there.
No kidding. Just keeps coming.
Kill the future.
Does the county pay membership to this?
We pay, it's actually budgeted. it's based on,
Population looks like.
and
I just noticed Rawlins County and Graham County aren't, not in it.
it's based off our valuation.
Good God.
A lot of paperwork.
No kidding.
Well, I can't find it, but it's based off our valuation. It's kind of set up like, what's it called?
Well, here on the certificate, it says assessed evaluation, each county clerk, based on information from November 1 of 2019.
So this is run out of Topeka?
I think it's funded out of there, but I think
Yeah, I think
Norton
Norton.
County actually runs
so
it.
Norton County Clerk was doing the budget, but he's retiring.
So they're looking for a clerk, huh? Not enough to do.
It's like Sunflower District 6, that's who I was trying to. That's based on counties. Yeah, I don't know what the clerk's conference is gonna do, they always have a fundraiser, and Norton County Clerk, he's an auctioneer and also, so he always handles the auctioneer part of it.
What's his name?
Robert Wyatt,
Yeah. Wyatt.
he's been clerk for a number of years.
Yeah, I remember him. Good morning. Come on in.
Big
How are
budget.
you? Is it good time for me to come in, or?
Sure, we're just finishing up with another item here, so give us just a few minutes.
Sure.
Have an old business too.
Okay.
You wanna go now?
Well, let's settle this. We need to vote on whether to go ahead and stay, or is this just an information?
That's just information.
Okay.
Well, they have a choice.
Okay. We're already in, we like it or not. Okay, and you had some old business? Go ahead, Scott.
Northwest Kansas Planning and Development, what did you get? You tabled that from last meeting?
Well, I think Roger was going to attend the meeting whenever
I missed it.
I don't
I thought it
know.
was the 25th or something.
I think that's right.
Okay.
Didn't it? I was looking for the date I wrote down and I can't find it.
We'll have to contact Helen, but I thought we were gonna wait till after
Okay.
Roger attended the meeting
I
and
just swore it was around the 25th.
I think you're right. But check with Helen.
Well, I have that somewhere.
Okay.
I guess I need some direction of what I'm supposed to be doing. I mean, I know I'm supposed to ask why they're not paying their taxes, but
I went to the last meeting and they start off with, of course, they go over their budget and then they open it up for discussions. And I know there's several counties that are upset. Now, whether they're going to be there to, you know,
you'd like to know how much money we're gonna receive for our membership, if we're losing money. But if,
well, we don't know. You
I
can't
mean, you
call
can't-
it a loss when we didn't have it in the first place.
right,
I mean, you're talking about something that could have been a potential, no guarantee, but.
but we know the 18,000 is a
Yeah.
loss.
Yeah, we know that that's out there somewhere. I think before I went, Roger, I'd check with Dolores and just double check that, or Amanda, and get the accurate number.
And I know that, I thought I heard him say that he was trying to get it changed to a, really wasn't a commercial, it was a different tax
Well,
code or.
but he's made no attempt to do that.
But that's not up to our appraiser to do that.
No.
And then I think he has, if I'm not mistaken, before he can do that, he's got to pay the taxes under protest.
Well, if he's going to protest, then the taxes have to be paid in full.
That's right, and then he protests, and then he can get it, he can get reimbursed.
Correct.
So if he wants to do this, he needs to step up and pay the tax.
Yes.
And I think that's the whole problem. He hasn't stepped up and done any of that stuff.
Yeah.
How are you?
Okay, good morning, Danny.
Are you ready for me or?
Not quite. We got one ahead of you.
It's fine.
Sorry.
That's all from.
Okay, anything else? Okay. Rance, I think we're ready for you.
All righty. I just want to give you a quick update on the hospital, how things are going.
Okay.
Is this something you'd like to do monthly or something?
Usually,
Way it's been.
if you get busy and you can't come in, you might forward your. Scott receives all the information anyway.
Just try to, if we can.
Yeah, if you
monthly,
can,
okay.
just come in, and mainly for the viewers, the county, the citizens of the county, so they can kind of keep up too.
Okay, perfect.
I usually try to send an email out. Sometimes I
Okay.
get a little busy and forget, but I
Okay.
usually try to send
That's,
an email
yeah.
out.
Shauna provides everything. I mean, she'll send everything to Scott. She sends him a packet, and then Scott will send it to us. And so if we ever have any questions or anything, we'll let you know.
Good deal. All righty.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So have you been busy?
We are getting there. For the last 2 months, it has been pretty painful. Revenue-wise, we're down about 50%, running 2 months in a row. So that has hurt significantly. Volume-wise, our volume has been not too bad. It's just that we had to cut out a lot of our services that were actually revenue producers, like our outpatient surgeries. All those had to pretty much,
This is all
be
pretty much
trimmed
COVID-19 related.
yeah. And like physical therapy, just not being able to do physical therapy, bring patients into the physical therapy department. So losing that service for a while. So it really hurt us on the revenue side, although like our clinic volume, I think it never dropped below about 65% of normal. It's getting up, it's over 90 now. It's getting closer to normal.
Well, I think people in the beginning were afraid to go to the doctor or the hospital. They just,
We're still having some of that. People are still, can we come to the hospital? Can we come to the clinic? Like
can we
this.
see at the back door?
Yes,
Can-
we're
yeah.
open for business, and we screen them at the door, and we still screening, And if there are symptoms and stuff, then we'll mask them and
Are you still
take those
restricting
precautions.
visitors?
So we are seeing it gradually increase, but we're also working on some ideas of how can we get the word out that, hey, it's okay to come see your doctor at the clinic, to schedule your appointments, to use our services. We're open and ready. So now this month, we have seen just a huge jump on our swing bed services, which is very helpful. All of a sudden, we just got really busy in swing bed. And so that's a good thing. And I'm hoping that those numbers continue to trend up. Right now, where we are from where we were last year in swing bed, we're about half of the swing bed patients that we had at this time last year. But this month, we've already had 150 swing bed days, or June, we had 150 swing bed days, which is a huge jump, over double of what we've been doing. And so if those numbers keep going, then that will really help.
Good.
One of our big deals that we've been working on is we got a $1.4 million payable back to Medicare that is due at the end of this month. And we have been carving that money out and setting it aside, and we're ready to make that payable. But because of the way Medicare works and because of the way they reimburse you for your services, it's sort of opposite of a way a regular business works. The more business you do, the less you get paid with Medicare. And so they do this, they look last year at what your business you did in Medicare, and then they adjust their rate for the next year according to the business you did last year. Well, in 2019, when Dr. Lick came on board, all of a sudden, we started doing a lot of business, which was great. But then it hurt us because Medicare looks at those numbers and said, oh, you did a lot more business than we projected you were going to, so we overpaid you by $1.4 million. We want that money back.
What a racket. That's
And
a pretty good
so
system.
that's what that's all about. And so we'll be paying that back by the end of this month. And so we're going to be tight for a little while. But if our volume keeps increasing, and if this COVID stays at bay and we're able to continue doing what we're doing, then we should see things improving.
You're not receiving any COVID money?
We actually have almost $4 million sitting in the bank from COVID money, but all that's going to, as far as we know, all that's going to have to be repaid, so we haven't touched a dime of it.
You can't show a loss because of,
We can on the, there's another 1.3 million for the salary reimbursement, the program. That we can. And so we have done that, and it looks like they're going to actually let us keep, we actually have almost 5 million. There's 1.3 million we're going to actually be able to keep out of all of that. The rest of it is going to have to go back.
And who'd you receive these funds from?
It's all from the COVID.
Federal
relief.
level, state level,
It's all federal.
federal level?
Federal level. We have received some state level stuff, but that is mainly from grants, and so that we won't have to pay back, and that's maybe a little over $100,000 that we received from that, and so that we won't have to pay back. But the federal funds, yeah, there's those strings attached to it, which we knew, and I told Heidi when those checks started coming in, I told her, I said, let's open up a separate bank account, let's tuck those away, because I know the government's going to want. There's no way that's going to be free money to us.
You know how they're going to watch that and audit it like
Yeah.
nobody's business.
Yeah. And now, if something comes up to where we're watching it close, because if there's some equipment, like for instance, we're equipping our lab to start doing our own COVID testing, and our clinic both here and in Bird City. So we'll be able to do COVID testing in all three places, the hospital, both clinics. And when we get those testing capabilities, I think it is a 20-minute turnaround time from the time we test it till we get results. So with those tests, those will qualify for some of those federal funds, but it's not a whole lot of money, not compared to that $4 million that's sitting there. But if there's any other, we're watching it close and looking if there's any other way we can spend some of that money that qualifies for upgrading some of our equipment and that type of stuff, then we're looking to try to do that and take advantage of many of those dollars as we can.
Well, it's such a confusing situation, and I agree and support your idea of,
Yeah,
let's put this money away until we see
Yeah.
what's going to happen.
yeah.
How long did you say it'd be before you can have the testing?
I asked Erica on that yesterday because she's working with a company that's doing it, and we're hoping that by August we're able to start doing that testing in-house.
And that's 20-minute turnaround? Yeah, 'cause
And right now it's a 4 to 5 day turnaround time because we have to send it to the state.
Yeah, because I've been watching some on the news, and they're as far out as 6 weeks,
Yeah. And
which doesn't seem like
yeah,
it's even worth it.
It's the only reason to do it at that point is just for the state to
Numbers.
have numbers. Other than that, it does us no good because,
That's what I was thinking, because,
yeah, it
I
doesn't
mean, you
tell
can't
us.
quarantine somebody for 6 weeks.
Exactly. So with this, being able to have that turnaround time, because we have implemented new protocols for our outpatient surgeries, like every patient that has a surgery scheduled, we do pre-op COVID testing just to make sure, and if it's positive, then of course we won't do that surgery until they're cleared. So that will help because we'll have a 20-minute turnaround time on those tests, and we'll be able to keep those patients on schedule for surgeries rather than waiting 4 or 5 days for a result to come back and then have to figure out how we're going to work them into the schedule. So that should help us get back busy like we need to be.
Yeah.
So
Well, best of luck to you, and it's challenging times.
it definitely is.
So- But it sounds like you're on top of everything. And
Yeah. And then the only thing else I wanted to bring to the table, I just wanted some feedback from you guys on the mental health program, the mental health county program, and that hadn't been funded for a couple of years now, I believe. And so, at least that's the feedback I'm getting.
and that's not quite true.
Okay.
It had been full of them. Page.
Okay, we actually have two funds, and I've never really fully understood. I think the fund you're talking about is strictly what's in this budget listed as mental health. And for the last, we've maintained $6,360 for the last 3 years.
Okay.
And we went ahead and proposed that same now for next year.
Okay, so
And-
6,000 is
$6,360.
allotted for that program.
Yes.
Okay, good deal. Well, that makes me feel better. 'Cause I thought it hadn't been funded, and I actually sat down trying to look at our books to see if we had, and I can't tell that we had paid anything to it.
To the best of my understanding, there was a grant associated with this
Yeah,
that was lost.
yeah,
And they came in and and made a request for a budget increase of more than double.
It was 8,000 or 8,400.
Yeah.
I think the grant was about a $10,000 grant that the hospital was,
Yeah.
they were applying for the grant and they didn't, either they got denied or did not apply, I don't know which.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not completely sure there. But yes, we have been funding it at $6,360 for the past several years. They came in and made a request to increase that. And we talked about it, we just didn't know where we was going to find it. I mean,
Yeah.
especially in these uncertain times, because we don't even know what our tax revenue is going to be through
Yeah.
all this. So we went ahead and put back in the $6,000 plus dollars, and we know it's not enough. Definitely not enough. And we'd love to find more money somewhere.
Is that through the High Plains Mental Health?
Sir?
High Plains Mental Health, is that where we're at?
Well, I wanted to see where you guys were if this program. I think it's a valuable program, and I don't want to lose it. But I wanted to get your feedback if you felt like it was a viable program that we wanted to keep pursuing, because I would like to.
I think so, because it's our only outlet for
Yes.
mental health.
Yes.
Does this money go to High Plains Mental Health or it go to,
It's a high place, but
it's High Plains Mental Health? Okay.
Yeah, and so I agreed. I think there's 11,000 left to be paid this year for that, and so I agreed. I told Candy that the hospital will pay that this year and make sure that that's taken care of. That way we keep that program intact. But I just wanted to talk to you guys
Yeah.
and see in the future.
Oh, definitely. And we all need to be looking at some other revenue stream
Yeah.
to feed this thing.
And I'm thinking surely there's some grant opportunities out there somewhere that we can tap into to fund this.
Yeah.
11,000, it's not a huge amount.
Well,
Surely we can tap into that somewhere.
The fallout from that is that they lost the office, or the ability to see patients in
Yeah.
Cheyenne County. Given that they could still travel and online, via phone, anything else, we just couldn't come up and justify
That, yeah,
the doubling or more than doubling of the budget request.
right, yeah.
But I think in the future, we need to really start looking at some ways we can.
Good deal. That's what I just wanted to get your input on that and make sure that you guys felt like it was a good program to keep investing in, because
we support that 100%. In
Okay.
fact,
Great.
I'm tickled that you're going to look for some
We've
kind of.
never dropped our budget. It's been the same for a long time.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. All right.
The worst of it is when they lost that grant, they come to us and ask us to add about another 10,000, and we just couldn't
So
find the
it
money.
wasn't there.
Well,
Sorry.
and another part of it was the budget had already been approved.
Yeah, it had
And
already
they
been
were late
submitted.
coming in, making that request.
Yeah, gotcha.
And our budget's already been submitted now to our auditors. It'd be tough to make changes, but.
At this point, yeah, okay.
And,
Well,
and
then-
for future, if you can bring this kind of thing in May,
Yeah,
it,
then we can discuss it.
yeah,
Try
and
to-
still have potential to get it adjusted before it goes to the
Okay.
auditors.
That sounds great. That's what I wanted to know, and because I feel the same way, and so I feel like it's something that is very important for the community and for the county, and so I want to do everything we can do to keep that thing going and alive.
Well,
and
keep in contact.
successful.
If you find some resources out there that you need our help with,
Yeah. Okay, sounds great.
all right.
All righty.
Thank you, Vince.
guys.
Good morning, Danny.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Not bad. I'm gonna do a copy here. Sorry I didn't get this out beforehand like I usually do every year. I'm here for the Conservation District. here to go over our operations fund, which is money that is given to the conservation district from the county and then the state matching funds from the state of Kansas. So this year, we're just going to continue to ask for the $23,050 that we've continuously have done for the past 4 or 5 years. Nothing has really much changed. The only thing that you'd see a big leap on there is my employee benefits. I don't receive any health insurance or benefits from the district, so they give me a stipend each month for health insurance, and they bumped it up from $500 a month to $600 a month. So that's the only real big, huge jump you'll see on there. Other than that, some expenses will probably go down just because I've been teleworking with the whole coronavirus thing, and things have been canceled and doing Zoom things. So travel expenses definitely will be going down. So, but what happens is, just to refresh your memory, is that whatever the county gives the conservation district, the state of Kansas matches like 98% of that. So last year when we got the $23,050 from the state, or from the county, the state matched it to $20,586. So it's not one for one, but it's whatever the legislation gives the Division of Conservation in Manhattan, and then they appropriate that out. So.
And we went ahead and we did not change that for 21.
It's perfectly fine. Yep, it works for us. I don't want to ask for more than we don't need, so.
Well, we appreciate that.
Any questions?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, well, I will email that certification sheet out. When I printed it yesterday, it was didn't look right, so I'll get that sent over to you, so.
Okay.
All right, thanks, guys,
They
appreciate it.
generate any money all through testing or,
Through the tree thing, or?
yeah, or anything like that?
We had to cancel our tree sale, so that
That hurt, didn't it?
it did, but I don't like to spend a lot of money at the district, so we really aren't going to be too affected by it. I didn't print out that because that's the small business enterprise side of the district, but I think we're setting about $55,000 there, and I'm not in any danger of having to shut the doors because we missed one tree sale. So yeah, it's done, or it was hard to cancel it, but it was probably for the best there.
It is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. So, and we weren't the only ones that had to cancel. So, with trees coming from Washington, one at the time, that was the hot spot of the COVID breakout. So I was like, yeah, I don't want our semi driver to bring that into here. So we just canceled it. So.
Okay, well,
right.
thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
All right.
Good morning, Dave.
Well,